Keri Hilson says, I said what I said. Well, that's the problem. I don't know what the hell you said. You're just talking dumb shit. This is more from Miss Keri Hilson, who clearly was trying to build up her brand to market her pro-blackness and black love bullshit. Keri Hilson says, attraction is chemical, magnetic, vibration, a force, undeniable, uncontrollable. No. That sounds like the ramblings of a hoe. Brothers, if you see a woman say something like this, that attraction is undeniable, uncontrollable, really what she's saying is that if she ever comes across another option that she thinks is as viable as you, she's going to take that option, because even if the new option is equal to you, only equal to you, the other option gets the edge because it's the new thing. So love means, at least for the sake of the woman, that she knows how to deny that quote-unquote attraction. But that can't happen in a society like this. Once again, that's why cats have to reassess their understandings on relationships and quote-unquote marriage. And it won't be until you do that that things will change. Number one, you have to stop impregnating whores. Because all you're doing really is you're assisting the accumulation of simps. Because you have intercourse and inseminate a whore. The whore gives birth to your child, whether it be girl or boy. 9 times out of 10, the girl will grow up to be another whore, just like their mother, or the boy will grow up to be a simp, very confused, overly emotional. Normally will become either a so-called gang member, drug dealer, or woman worshiper, or homosexual. That's why brothers have to take their time before they initiate these relationships. Keri Hilson says, you can't control who you're attracted to, and you're entitled to that attraction. Interesting. Isn't this the person who just said that she would like to end up with a so-called black man? Because that would be her soulmate. Now it sounds like she's going into her globalist altar. Love is love. Let's all hold hands. We can't control who we're in love with. Tell that to those fathers over there in Pakistan. They added to this, I can control who my daughter's in love with. And if she don't want that control, her ass is going to get stoned. They still putting their daughters to death over there, man. Iran, Pakistan, they don't play. Because they understand if you let the woman just do whatever the hell she wants to, she will bring nothing but confusion to your entire nation, not just your village, your whole nation. Everybody will be confused, man. Unfortunately, the so-called black man here in America, because he thinks two-dimensionally, meaning emotional, and just about what's directly in front of him, he misses so much. But that's the spirit of a simp. A simp is just, someone who has the spirit of a woman in his body. Now, I just wanted to assess some of these magazine covers that have displayed Keri Hilson in the past. As we can see her, she's doing, kind of a femme version of the Superman pose to show what, most likely, she's an Eastern star. As most of the prominent, if not all of the prominent black females in Hollywood are. But also, I just wanted to pay very close attention to one of the catchphrases that get promoted today pertaining to the so-called black woman. It says here, black girls rule, right? You see that in the middle? Black girls rule. They're constantly trying to associate and promote the so-called black woman as a queen or as a goddess, because they're letting you know that she has a certain level of authority, similar to how, like in corporate America, a lot of the supervisors are black females. They're not on the level of the Caucasian female, and definitely not the Caucasian male, but they are granted a certain amount of authority in the same way as in a home, an affluent home, the so-called white man is the head of the home. If the black female is there as the maid, she still has the power to shoo the dog away. Get out this house, dog. The dog is who? The so-called black man. Right? Black girls rule. And here's just a close-up of it. A lot of these ideas for marketing the so-called black woman were concocted by the liberal Caucasian Jew behind the scenes. And what they'll do is they'll just contact one of the Luciferian so-called black females who are involved in entertainment, and they'll say, this is what we want you to push. We want you to act like this is your idea. You understand? People like Issa Rae and, you know, her protege Marseille Martin, they have a lot of plans for that little girl. I first mentioned her in a video that I did on Issa Rae on my YouTube channel. But that's what they'll do. They'll basically let their ideas for how to market the black woman trickle down from their think tanks to some of these black females who they placed in prominent positions to make you think that they came up with it. But the so-called black woman is a very important chess piece on the chessboard. Her job is to act as an impediment to the so-called black man understanding what he's supposed to do. That's one of the main machinations of the elite level so-called Caucasians who control this society from behind the curtain. We want to make sure that the so-called black man stays infatuated with black women, stays infatuated with the gender war between themselves and black women. Because the longer that happens, you know, the more time we have to introduce more of these Luciferian concepts like the worship of the horned god, which is becoming more and more prominent. I'll definitely be dealing with that in the near future in a few series that I'm working on. But I just want to provide some clarity pertaining to the quote-unquote horned god and the declaration that the powers that be are making about the horned god since 2020. Now, I found this cover. This was very interesting. This was really around the time that, you know, they were trying to market Keri Hilson as someone who could possibly be another addition into the entertainment industry. You know, they wanted her to, you know, maybe be a backup to Beyonce. And I'll be addressing that dynamic between those two quote-unquote singers very soon. But I want brothers to pay very close attention. As we can see here in the upper right, you have the numerology of 167. Now 67 is equivalent to 76. We know that that stands for the goat. And that also explains some of the designs that we see on this cover. Just keep in mind, as stated, 167 or 176, those numbers are considered equivalent. The number 1 is just a placeholder. The number 76 or 67 is for the Capricorn, aka the goatfish. Right? So is this person, Keri Hilson, another programmed monarch asset in the industry? Sex kitten or beta program? Who knows? We also see right underneath where it says 167, fresh new looks, it says what? Catwalk to closet. A lot of times there will be an allusion to a feline or some type of jargon or terminology that is an allusion to cats for many of the beta programmed assets, also known as sex kitten programming. We see in the lower left it says what? Black girls rock. Another, you know, catchphrase meant to promote the quote-unquote black woman as the divine feminine. We see that all over the place. Serena Williams, Beyonce, Oprah, now Simone Biles. They push these females as these quote-unquote goddesses. I'm going to be evaluating that very soon also, particularly pertaining to Simone Biles and Serena Williams. This is a close-up right here. It says winter issue, Black Girls Rock. Now the term rock is also meant to be an allusion to the Bitulos, meaning the sin-bearing rock or the sin-bearing stone, what's also known as the capstone, right? It's an allusion to Adam. They're trying to rebuild the golden age of Adam when he liberated mankind. He was proverbial Prometheus. He brought the lightning or the fire to mankind. He taught them to worship themselves. That's why you see, you know, that term rock around a lot, right? Rocky Balboa, the wrestler The Rock. I'll be dealing with a lot of that soon also in a series that I'm preparing. I have a lot of series that are about 80-85% done. Okay, so now, brothers, I just wanted to do a close-up on this magazine cover. Many times they will hide certain symbolism or imagery in plain sight. normally with the title font for the magazine. We see it a lot with Time magazine especially. Now with the case of this magazine, they hit it a bit better. But that's why I wanted to note that they had the number 167 right next to her head. You see that when you do the close-up, it's actually 2 horns there. Of course, obviously for the GOAT. Many of these celebrities, they just get reassigned if their careers don't take off. Some of them will act as controlled opposition. They'll run onto the internet and act woke. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll see some of them. You'll see a lot of celebrities thumbing up videos that appear to be, you know, truth-oriented videos and things of that sort. Sometimes it's sincere, but sometimes it's just them playing out their new role. Like when I spoke about the ritual with the Milwaukee Bucks, they took this guy George Hill, who obviously was Monarch programmed, but he never really reached his fulfillment. He never really reached his potential in the NBA. So they just reassigned him and had him fulfill another role as an instigator for a ritual for Colin Kaepernick and also for the great Buck, or the great GOAT, the great horned one. And we know that precipitated what? The Milwaukee Bucks winning the championship. But once again, I'll be addressing that because there are a lot of esoteric components there, especially with Giannis as the quote-unquote Greek god, the horned god, right? But that's neither here nor there. As we can see here, they're showing you that there was a connection between Beyonce and Keri Hilson. Maybe they introduced Keri Hilson into the industry as a potential replacement for Beyonce, and they just wanted to see them fight it out to see who would win. Because all of these people are witches, all of them. Witches and sorcerers. So their attitude is there can be only one. Now, there was a while where Keri Hilson was feeling herself. She thought that she was going to win this little, in her mind, confrontation with Beyonce, but it failed. As we can see here, what Keri Hilson has on the all black, Beyonce has on the gold as the sun goddess or the great enlightener, right? She is the quote-unquote gold sun. She's Hathor, the golden goddess. Keri Hilson she represents the black sun or Saturn because they're both the same. But Keri Hilson lost. It says here, singer Keri Hilson, 38, shows off what appears to be a fake baby bump as she hints at a new project with Lifetime TV. The reason why she was doing this is because that basically was her mating call. She wants to get pregnant. And that's something that's very dangerous. Let me also mention this. A lot of you brothers out there, you will get subverted by one of these fine-ass 37, 38-year-old females whose biological clock is ticking. And she will do and say whatever she needs to do or say to make you think that she wants to be with you. Look at the storyline involving, what's the IG Thottie's name? Brittany Renner and the basketball player PJ Washington, that idiot. He needed to be on my channel. Because had he been on my channel, hopefully anyway, he would not have fell for that bullshit. The woman, essentially is an actress. I say this repeatedly. The woman by nature is an actress. Not all of them, just 99.99999. So let's see what this article says. This is Keri Hilson trying to act as if she's pregnant, looking all bugged out in the face. Keri Hilson appears to be toying with her fans. Well, no, she's actually trying to send out a mating call. She's trying to communicate with a desperate, thirsty man to let him know that her womb is open for business, that he can ski all up in there. A lot of these guys are so thirsty, they'll do it. Just for a chance to run up in Keri Hilson's walls, they'll do it. It says here on Friday, the R&B singer got everyone talking after posting a picture of herself with a baby bump on social media. Though fans were quick to point out just 2 weeks ago, she showed off her flat stomach while modeling swimwear. It appears that the bump could be to do with a character that she is playing in a new movie on Lifetime TV. Of course it is, but the reason why she posted the photos with no context is because in her mind when she put on that baby bump, She was imagining herself as a mother. Because those are the only two real purposes of the woman on the earth. Wife and mother. All the rest of this shit is just marketing. So here goes Keri Hilson again. It says fake news. Keri Hilson posed with what appeared to be a baby bump on Friday, though fans believe it's for a new TV show. And she doesn't look bad pregnant either. I mean, assuming that her body would actually expand in that way. It's very obvious that this chick is, she wants a baby. But it's probably going to be too late for her. She will most likely end up being one of these females who, will allow some other female, some other woman to carry a child to term that she will allege is hers. Who the hell knows? This is her again, patting her belly, looking for attention. Now this is more from Keri Hilson. Once again, please keep in mind, this is marketing for her Black Love campaign, her Black Love business, which is very, very lucrative. Selling the idea of quote unquote Black love, which that doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is loyalty and sacrifice, what we call love. There's no such thing as quote unquote Black love, because there's no such thing as black people. Right? Our people have an ancestral name. It has nothing to do with a fictitious corporate designation for a quote unquote race. But let's see what she says here. She says, men who provide emotional security and display wise leadership will get the softest, most feminine, relaxed, trusting, guard down, submissive, nurturing version of their woman. Is that necessarily true? Of course not. Of course not. That's not true at all. That's based on the presumption that the average woman responds to positivity and construction as opposed to destruction, and that's just not the case. But are there females out there who would respond to a man who has all of these traits in the way in which Keri Hilson states? Of course there are. There are many females out there who are waiting for a man who embodies these positive, constructive traits. They're just very hard to find. And then on top of that, so many of them are dealing with this excessive amount of baggage. So you have to be a man with a great deal of patience and generosity to work your way through all of that bullshit. And if you're willing to do that, knock yourself out. But just getting back to what she's saying here, once again, this is a mating call by her, but it's also an attempt to push her Black love marketing. Right? She's trying to help cats understand. A lot of you cats out there who are thirsty, you should try to hit up Keri Hilson, man. Might have a shot. Right? Never doubt yourself. Let me tell you this, man. A lot of these fine-ass chicks, they single, bro. They single as a dollar bill. Because they crazy. So Keri Hilson says, even successful, strong women want to feel safe enough to be soft. Not quite sure about that. Not quite sure about that, but the modern-day female speaks in newspeak. What is newspeak? It means that they have created their own new definitions for words. Like when a woman says, I just want to be respected. Really what she means is that she wants to be worshipped. That's newspeak. Right? I want a man who's going to love and cherish me. She wants a robot. She wants a man who's going to drop everything according to her whims. That's the reason why they have a hard time getting these, these great men who are successful, because a great man who is successful, he has to follow his own ideas and his own whims, because he knows that if he fails, he's asked out anyway, in every way. If a great man fails, he's going to lose the woman regardless, 999 times out of 1,000. So why the hell would he be concerned about her first? The dudes who are going to do the things that Keri Hilson and a lot of other simple-minded women claim they want are normally going to be the guys who are not going to be that successful, because they're not going to be that driven. Right? When you're driven to be super successful, the woman pretty much has to be along for the ride. Y'all not going to be there in the living room debating over, whose business plan is going to win out when the business is ran by you as a man. That's not going to happen. The man who has, what they call an alpha male personality, he really gets very little sustenance. He gets very little enlightenment out of a conversation with a woman. That might sound crass, but it's just the truth. Men converse with women either because they're trying to fuck them or because they're with them in a relationship and they actually care about how that woman is doing. But in general, men don't talk to women to gain enlightenment. But reading again, it says, even successful, strong women want to feel safe enough to be soft. That is our true nature. Not quite sure if I agree with that. I think that the woman's true nature is to follow behind power. It's pretty simple shit. The woman in her innate nature follows behind power. People in general follow behind power, other than leaders who have not been empowered to lead yet. Keri Hilson, she says, the man who makes me feel safe will have the world. Well, what's the world? How could he have the world just by making you feel safe unless you're trying to imply that you're a goddess who can give him the world? You understand, brothers? You understand how bugged out these creatures are upstairs? They really think that the world resides between their legs. That's what it boils down to. That's really what she's saying. The man who makes her feel safe will have the world. I guarantee you that Keri Hilson has had that type of man already. She blew it. I guarantee you that. And that's the reason why so many females are angry today. It's not because they've never had a good man. It's because they had one and they let him go. So here it says, this is Keri Hilson once again wearing her t-shirt. She says, I don't need you to understand, though. Actually, you do. That's why you keep talking about it. You do need people to understand because you're trying to sell your black love business. You're trying to promote your black love business. And I have no problem with that. Once again, Keri Hilson knows that there are thousands of so-called black people, especially in this day and age with the quote-unquote racial reckoning, who will buy her apparel. As long as it says my soulmate is black on there. And here we go. Here's the t-shirt. My soulmate is black. Remember, it started out just as her making a statement about her so-called preferences and what she's looking for. But she's marketing it. Hey, that's up to her. It's a capitalistic society. If people are willing to buy it, knock yourself out. But once again, brothers, that's basically it on that. Peace.